Alright everyone, this is a tutorial on how to make a Saba holster. First thing you want to do is take your craft foam and you want to cut out the entire length of the foam. It should measure 18 inches. Make sure the height measures 2.5 inches. This is going to be our belt loop. Once you've cut your foam out, go ahead and fold it in half and make sure everything lines up correctly. Feel free to cut off any excess foam. Next, we're going to cut out the actual holster part. Take the remaining foam that you just used and you're going to measure 11 inches width by 4.5 inches in height. Once it's cut, make sure all the lines that you've cut are straight. Here's a little sneak preview of what our holster is going to look like. As you can see, it's a very simple design. The next part is going to be measuring the gold fabric that we're going to use to cover our foam. Here's this gold fabric I bought from SPANDEX House. What you want to do is place your foam on the spandex and cut around it where you have enough so you can cover it on each side. Once it's cut, place your foam in the middle of the spandex and outline it so you know exactly where you're going to be placing it once you're ready to glue. This is the glue I'll be using. This is a spray adhesive glue by 3M called Super 77. Make sure you spray a good amount of glue. Once the glue has been applied, take your spandex and take your foam and apply the foam onto your spandex and press down tightly. Once it has been applied, your gold spandex should be stuck to your foam with no trouble at all. Now we'll be gluing down the remaining sides of the fabric. I advise you to do one side at a time. Make sure you pull it and give it a nice stretch when you're gluing it down so that fabric secures on nice and tight.
You know you must be strong and hold your own, 'cause the power's on your side. The enemy will try to give you fear, but you never run or hide. It will come running to your side.
As you can see, our holster is starting to come along nicely. Go ahead and finish off the remaining sides. Pull firmly and press down to make sure it secures. And there's our completed holster. nice and shiny, very flexible, and easily bendable. As a bonus, you can also use the same concept we just applied to make your very own Dragon Ranger armbands. So next we're going to do the belt loop. Go ahead and do the exact same process you did for the holster. And here's our completed belt loop. Now that both pieces of foam have been covered in spandex, it's time to put it all together with glue. Make sure you let the glue dry for both pieces for the best results. This is the final step for our Saba holster. Take your Aniki made belt and take your belt loop that we just cut and go ahead and measure the exact amount of space you'll need in order to fit that belt loop on the belt. Once you know the exact width you need for that loop, go ahead and using a hot glue gun, secure both ends of the loop together. If you need to tighten the belt loop a little more, keep applying glue until it's to your exact specifications. Remember, the looser the belt loop, the more it's going to move around on your belt, so you want it nice and tight. Here I'm measuring our belt loop against our belt holster. Place the belt loop at the very edge of the belt holster and measure exactly where you will need to apply the glue to secure it. Remember, this belt loop needs to be glued to the end of the holster. Make sure everything lines up correctly and that it's secured on properly. For this next step, take your Saba sword. Place it against the belt loop. And next, we're going to measure the amount of space we need on our holster in order for our Saba to fit nice and snug. Wrap the holster around your Saba sword, making sure that it's not too tight and not too loose. Once you have an idea of how loose or how snug you're going to want it, make sure you measure it and mark it in the back so you know exactly where to glue it down. Your Saba should be able to slip in and out very easily. Once you have an idea of where you're going to glue it down in the back, go ahead and apply your glue. This will be supporting the weight of your Saba, so you want to make sure that it can't come apart. Once it's glued together, your Saba holster is done. Take your Saba, place it inside, and make sure everything works correctly. Your Saba now has a new home. Enjoy! And here's the finished result.